I live in what is probably second only to Forks in raininess, and the one day I decide to film, we've got this. So we're just gonna go with it because I don't have that much time and I want to get some content made today. Maybe one day I'll buy a ring light. But until that day, you can enjoy this side lit face. Before I start this video, while I'm just sitting here glowing in the sun with my coffee in the microwave, I don't know if you can hear that, I'll just describe to you how ridiculous my morning was. I was filming an interview with the author of the Zero Repeat Forever series, Gabrielle Prendergast. I was very excited about it, and my camera didn't record anything. Actually, I should backtrack. First of all, my computer had a conniption. It just randomly got stuck on the caps lock. Then I rebooted it to see if that would help, and instead, it just made the screen really glitchy and nothing was working. So I switched to record the interview on my work computer, and then that Zoom call lagged so much, so I was missing like half of what she was saying. And then I clicked record Zoom automatically. None of that recorded. Thanks, old computer. So yeah, didn't get any of that footage. I also had this camera going so that I could have some good quality footage. Ooh, my coffee's ready. I had this going so I could have good quality footage, and she's gonna send me her footage, so I was gonna edit it so it looks like we're in the same room talking back and forth. But then my camera didn't record anything either, so I just had like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to interview one of my favorite authors, and I had two things recording the footage. Neither of them worked. So hopefully she captured everything and then I can re-record myself asking her the questions. But if she didn't, then I'm gonna have to tell her that this whole interview was a bust and a waste of time. And that deeply saddens me because I try to make this channel at least like as professional as I can make it from my home, and I'm so disappointed. And now I'm sitting down to film different videos and I'm dealing with this. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm very frustrated. Okay, so I'm gonna get my coffee and then we can get into it. So yes, hi. What are we doing here? I don't know. I'm in a mood. My name is Victoria, and today I'm doing a Q&A video because I haven't done one in ages and you guys submitted questions on Instagram, so I'm gonna answer them. Let's do it. They're just on my phone, so if I look down, that's what I'm doing. There are quite a few, so if I don't get to all of them, I'm so sorry, but thank you for submitting. Number 1, who is your favorite character from Six of Crows? That is a tough question because I love so many of them, but possibly Inej. Inej and Nina are really up there for me. If you could go into any book universe for 3 hours, what would you do and who would you see? That's a good question. I think that I would probably go to Hogwarts, like enter the Harry Potter universe. The thing is, like, so many of the book worlds that I love to read about would actually be like really shitty to live in. So I feel like being a student at Hogwarts would be like semi-safe and really fun, minus the transphobia. And I would probably want to take Neville's class because he just seems like a sweetheart. But failing that, I would go into the ACOTAR universe, like post-war and drama, and just like hang out with Nesta. When will be the Crescent City music? So if you guys saw, a long time ago, I announced a collab with Starfall Court. It is a Crescent City themed collab about the relationship between Danica and Bryce. Basically what happened there was COVID. Basically they have to get together in London to film, and with the pandemic they can't do that. So that is kind of indefinitely postponed. I did write music for it, but of course I'm not going to release it until our project comes out, so I'm not entirely sure. Favorite song? That's so hard. I feel like my favorites are probably Orange Sky by Alexi Murdoch or Blackheart by Two Steps from Hell. Very different vibe, but love them both. Probably some of the only songs that I never skip when they come on a playlist. Are you excited for A Court of Silver Flames? Who do you ship Nesta with? Very excited. I've actually started reading it already. Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. Nesta has always been my favorite character from that series, so I was super stoked that she got her own book. I, of course, ship her with Cassian, but since starting this, I also kind of ship her with more. Of course, I know that's never gonna happen, but like, just let me live my dreams, okay? What are some of your theories about Rule of Wolves? Well, I actually don't have any because I haven't read the most recent Grisha books. I haven't read Crooked Kingdom, I haven't read King of Scars, so yeah, I don't know. What do you want the Shadow and Bone series to change from the books? Oh, that's a great question. I feel like people are usually like, what are you excited to see that's from the books, or what are you worried they're gonna change? But what do I hope they change? I hope they change Alina and Mal's personalities. Those people are bland limp noodles. And that's the tea. Do you think the Shadow and Bone show will give us the Darklina we deserve? Well, they better. I feel like they would, because their relationship is like the main thrust of that series and the only reason it's good. That's not true. The world building and magic is good too, but like Alina and Mal is so bland, I don't care. Do you think there is misogyny in the Bible? I started reading it and I don't know how to feel about some stuff. Another great question. Yeah, as many of you know, I am a queer affirming Christian and have a master's degree in theology. So I talk a lot about theology and that kind of stuff in my Instagram stories and also on TikTok more so. But yeah, do I think there's misogyny in the Bible? Absolutely. I think that there's a lot of messed up stuff in the Bible, which is something all Christians have to grapple with. You know, for me, I'm not a biblical literalist, so I don't think that it was literally written by the hand of God and dropped out of heaven. So for me, the fact that there's a lot of wacky stuff in there doesn't really affect my view of God, because I see it more as like humans in a cultural context wrestling through and exploring their experience of God. So absolutely, I think there's misogyny in the Bible. I think a lot of the passages that people take out of scripture to oppress women, like the submission texts and things that Paul wrote in the New Testament, a lot of those are taken out of context. So in the actual context and original language, they're actually not as misogynistic as people think. I think it's super fair, as you say, to not know how to feel about a lot of that stuff, because it is really messed up. And especially if you come from like a more conservative evangelical background like I did, we were raised to think like the Bible is perfect in every way, there's nothing wrong with it, or there's nothing bad in there, and we should get all of our morals from exactly what it says. But when you read about women being sold as property, or slavery being justified, or homophobia, it's like, I don't know if we necessarily want to like take those morals, you know? So I think it should challenge you, and it's totally fine to feel weird about it. It's an ancient text from an ancient culture. It's very weird. Favorite Shadowhunter couple and series. Okay, I know I'm gonna get some flack for this, but I have to say Clary and Jace, my OG, and also the original City of Bones. You know, the original trilogy is just where it's at. I am aware that that is probably 100% based on my own personal nostalgia, having grown up with those books. I know that there's the whole incest plot line, like, I'm not saying that that's okay, I'm just saying it's still my favorite. Do you have a favorite queer graphic novel? No, I don't, purely because I have never read a graphic novel. It's never been something I've been that interested in. I think just because I find pictures very distracting. I don't know why, that's a really weird random thing, but like same, like I used to read comics and stuff as a kid sometimes, or illustrated chapter books, and I just really struggled to get into them because I felt like I would like get distracted by the picture and then have to go back to the words and back and forth, and it really just slowed down my reading experience, and I never got lost in it. So if you like graphic novels, that's not to say don't read them. Like absolutely, totally, there's a place for that. It's just never been something that I got into. What's your process when creating instrumentals for your songs? Well, I am not very competent. Yeah, I produce all of it myself except for the epic orchestrals. Obviously, I work with a producer for those, and I think you can tell because my bedroom recording is only so-so. Because I don't have any serious developed skill in production, I usually start by recording the piano track. So I'll just like write the song with piano and like simple chords, record that, and then basically just build from there. So I'll like try to figure out, you know, what other instruments to add. Basically what I do on GarageBand is set it to keyboard piano. So I just can play my keys like I'm typing, but it's piano, and then select the instrument. So that's how I really get all of the different sounds. And there isn't really a rhyme or reason to the process. It's just, I just mess around until it sounds good, or as good as I can make it. I'm sorry that's not more helpful. I really am not a producer, so what you hear is basically just me messing around and trying to create what I hear in my head to the best of my ability. Do you still go to church? Yes, I do. As a lot of you know, I was at a church which ended up being quite homophobic. So I left there and took a couple months away from church just to like recover from the toxicity. And then I joined a new church right before the pandemic hit. So I think I attended only a handful of like in-person services, and then the pandemic hit and now it's all online. So I occasionally pop into their like mega Zoom, which is like once a month, everybody meets on Zoom. And then I also have a Bible study with the people in my actual bubble, because we're still in COVID lockdown bubbles. So do I attend church? Yes, but also nobody's attending church right now because it's COVID. What's the hardest part of songwriting to you? Definitely the production. As I said, it does not come naturally to me. I have no formal training. I'm just messing around in GarageBand. So I think my main struggle is when I'll write a song and what ends up coming out in the production is just not what I'm hearing. It doesn't really feel like the quality of what I've envisioned. That can be really discouraging and disheartening. So it's nice when you guys leave comments, because so many people will say like, this is amazing, and it's like, it really does encourage me, because usually when I post stuff, I'm like, well, I like this song, but the production sounds like shit. So that's like something that I really struggle to deal with. Favorite hair color that I've done. I think the teal. I am enjoying this purple, but teal was just like my signature color for like 3 or 4 years. So I like it. And I think it brings out my eyes and looks nice when my roots grow out. So I don't know if that is accurate. I've done so many colors, honestly, but that will probably always be my favorite. What inspires you when you are down and unmotivated? It sounds really cliche, but honestly, you guys, like the comments that I receive, the encouragement, the DMs from people who say that my music has helped them in some way, that honestly is the main factor in helping me do YouTube. Generally, I can feel unmotivated in other spheres like writing or whatever, or work, which we all can. But in terms of YouTube itself, like, it is honestly you guys that motivates me, because I think I've been doing this for about 4 years now, and my subscriber count like rarely grows. So it would be so easy to give up when I'm like, it's not growing, the production quality isn't where I want it to be, why do I even bother? But the messages from you guys and the support is really what helps me keep going. How's the band doing? The band is doing okay. Of course, with the pandemic, we can't gig or do shows or anything. So we released our debut single in November. Yeah, and we've got a follow-up one coming in the next couple of months, and then we're currently working on our EP, so hopefully that will be out maybe by the end of this year, but like no promises, you know? Have you read The Black Witch by Laurie Forrest? No, I haven't. It was on my want to read for a long time, and then I forgot about it until this question. If you could play someone in the ACOTAR movie, your songs as the soundtrack, thank you, who would you play? Well, I am not an actress, so this is not something I have envisioned, although I used to pretend that I was Aelin and like talk to myself in the bathroom mirror, but that's fine. But I think it would be really fun to play Amryn, except for I'm white, so like, no. But in terms of personality, I feel like that would be fun. But failing that, maybe Nesta, because I feel like I could do like the really intense, scary thing kind of well. I don't know. Do you have any artists who inspire you during working on your music? Not specifically. I mean, of course, artists have influenced my work, like Sversina, Aurora, Ruel, like all of these people have like impacted the kind of music I want to write. But in terms of when I'm actually sitting down to songwrite or record, more what I'm focusing on is how I see the book in my mind, like how reading the book feels to me. So rather than like trying to develop a certain musical sound, I try to develop the book as sound, if that makes sense. I don't know. Which I think is why like a lot of people comment that my songs don't sound the same. Like there's a lot of different genres going on, and that's kind of I think why, because I'm not really trying to like write a style of music. I'm trying to like make the book come alive as music. I don't know. That sounds so pretentious. I think the lighting is finally slightly better. What's your favorite song that you wrote? Everybody always asks me this, but it's so hard to pick just one. I think maybe like Atlas is one of the most meaningful to me, but so hard. I'm proud of so many for different reasons. Welcome to the Circus, which was the one I made for PJ Shepard's book. I am so proud of that production. I think that's one of my best in terms of like instrumentation. Heart of Steel, I feel like is lyrically really good. I don't know. I'm really amazing and I love all of my songs. Do you plan on pursuing music or writing professionally? Absolutely. That's what I'm doing right now. Just hasn't worked out yet. Yeah, I queried my first manuscript a couple years ago, up till, well, like last year mostly, to try and get an agent for that because I do want to be a published author, but that didn't work. So I'm currently working on my next one. And yeah, like I would love to be a professional writer. Of course, I'm aware that that's very difficult, so I'm not quitting my day job anytime soon. And music, I would love for our band to take off, but of course we're still small. Basically, all of these things are like, I would love to do them professionally, but it only takes like so much hard work and talent. It's also like a huge portion of luck. So I am trying, but like not happened yet. I don't know. May never, but I enjoy what I'm doing, so here we are. What type of work do you do? Speaking of my day job, I currently work as a legal assistant, but that was kind of an accident. Like I said, I have a master's in theology, so I intended to work for a church, but then I realized that I'm gay and also that I don't have a problem with that, and most churches don't feel the same way, so Basically, after I graduated, I just applied to like all sorts of admin jobs, and my dad is a lawyer, so I just fell into the legal sphere, and here I am. What is your songwriting process? This is also a good question. It's not really a process per se, but usually what happens is like while I'm reading a book, if there's a character or a theme that's kind of standing out to me as I read it, I'll start taking notes as I go. Sometimes that turns into immediately like a line of a song. I actually have a video about how I wrote Firestarter, so I'll link that below. You can check that out to kind of see it in action. But yeah, I'll come up with like a concept or something that's standing out to me, or like a line from a song, and then I'll start taking notes on that stuff in the book. Usually it's like the form of quotes or how characters feel about each other or something. And then I'll just kind of let that percolate. I don't usually like sit down to write, which is partially also why it takes me a million years to put out a bookish song. But most of the songs I write turn into songs in the shower. Super random, I don't know why. So I'll like have all my notes and have the idea, and then just like not think about it, and then all of a sudden in the shower it'll just like hit me. Once that takes shape as a song, sometimes it requires sitting down to fine tune it a bit, but usually by that point I've got like most of it, and so I'll sit down at the piano and then like mess around and try to figure out the chords that I want and then record it. The one exception to that is the Song of the Witch Kingdom, because that song used so much history from in the books. So I had like the first thing that came into my head while reading was the melody for the chorus, which basically uses the curse that Sarah wrote. It changes some of the lyrics a little bit to rhyme, but mostly that was already written. And then for the verses, I just did a bunch of research on the series to like compile all of the Witch Kingdom history. And so then once I had like it written out in note form, then I like tried to invent a melody to go with it. So that's the one exception. Have you ever heard about France Prešern? I don't know if I'm saying that right. He was a Slovenian poet. No, I have not, but thank you for letting me know. Are you going to do some music for The Cruel Prince? I'm Brazilian and I love your songs. Hi. Thank you. I don't plan on it currently just because I didn't really vibe with the first book so much. I enjoyed it, but I found it very slow. So if I go back to the series, then I would consider it. But like as of right now, I didn't come up with anything while reading the first book, and I don't have any plans to keep reading the series. Not indefinitely, but I have so many other books that I want to read that it's definitely like kind of on the back burner. Favorite type of character to write or read? I have differences for these. So for reading, I love to read very sassy, like not that emotional, kind of like, I don't know, bloodthirsty characters, or characters that are really angry. So I guess not really emotional is the wrong word, but like characters like Nesta, for example, or Katniss, where their emotions are very buried deep, but to the outside, they're just kind of scary. I love to read those. To write, I like to write very soft emotional characters, which is super weird because I am not like that at all. But for some reason, all of my protagonists are like these very like sunshine, gentle type of people, but maybe it's a way of exploring my inner emotional life. I don't know. I'm dying to know, would you consider writing a melody for the Weaver's song from ACOMAF? Absolutely. I've actually got the book up there. I have a loft, you can't see. In my little writing space, I put the book up there so I can start working on it. Don't hold your breath though. I doubt it'll come anytime soon. How did you start writing bookish songs? That is a good question. It's something I kind of have always done accidentally. I'm trying to think what the first one was. I think the very first one I did was maybe for the Hunger Games. I'm sure there was some before, but I don't know. It just like the songs pop into my head while I'm reading, and that's happened since I was probably 13 or 14. But I don't know if you guys know, I've said it in some videos, but I actually had a YouTube channel like way back in my teens. So when the Hunger Games first came out, I wrote a melody for Rue's Lullaby. So I don't know if that was like 2009, 2008, 2010, somewhere like in that ballpark when I was in my teens, my mid-teens. I started a YouTube channel and I posted that, and it got like 22,000 views, and I freaked out. I was not ready for the comments, even though they were nice. Like I just did not feel comfortable with the widespread attention, even though that's not that many views, but you know what I mean? So I deleted the entire channel. Bye! And now I'm of two minds, because obviously that was what I needed at the time. I wasn't ready to have a public persona. I was uncomfortable with it. So I think that was the right decision. But on the other hand, I'm like, if I had stuck with it, who knows how big my channel would be now? Like I restarted this one when I was, I think 23. I'm 27 now, and if I had kept it, I would be like over a decade by this point. I could have been like the OG bookish songwriter with a lot of subscribers. But then who knows what that would have done to my mental health, so here we are. Okay, I'm gonna mostly like rapid fire the end because we're getting on here. What is your favorite Throne of Glass book? Heir of Fire, best one by far. which songs that aren't your amazing own remind you of your favorite characters. Nothing comes to mind off the top of my head, but there are a lot of other bookish songwriters out there. I know that's not specifically what you're asking, but there are other people that write bookish songs that I would think of. So like Kendra Dantes, EJ Moore, Beth Crowley, Jenna Claire, I think her name is. Arcana. Anyways, maybe I'll make a video sometime about them, so if you don't know who I'm talking about, you can figure it out. Future reading or music plans. I am currently reading Court of Silver Flames, and then next I will probably read Crooked Kingdom. In terms of music, I will definitely be doing more from the Grishaverse. Books you will never make songs about. Shatter Me. Sorry, I know some people have asked me, but I read the first book and hated it. That's probably the only one I can say definitely, but I have thought about, like, if I ever hit 50,000 subscribers, I will let you guys select a song for me to write. So if you all vote for Shatter Me, I guess I'd do that, but generally no. And finally, what is your favorite book from a genre you don't really like? Oh my gosh, I know. Her Royal Highness is a contemporary rom-com, which is something that I almost never pick up because I'm like, where's the magic? Where's the fun? Like, give me something. But this is a sapphic rom-com about a girl who goes to boarding school in Scotland and realizes her roommate is an actual princess. And it's just a bucket of fun. The character chemistry is amazing. Like, I just binged it in a couple hours. It's so good. So that is it for this Q&A. I'm so glad the lighting mostly worked itself out by the end. Sorry for the weird beginning. As always, if you want to support this channel, you can find a link to my Buy Me a Coffee page where all the money goes towards helping me put my songs on streaming platforms. Until next time, I love you and I will see you in the next video. Bye.